So we know how much teachers love using the G Suite applications, especially Google Docs. But did you know that you can use Google Docs for more than just taking notes and writing papers? Today we want to expand on your usage of Google Docs.
And one of the creative ways that you can use Google Docs is creating something called a HyperDoc. And we're going to show you what a HyperDoc is, and we're going to walk you through how to create one on this week's episode of IT.
My teacher, Miss Lawson. And like you, Miss Lawson tries to find ways to make herself a better teacher. But lately she has a few concerns because her students are unexcited, bored, and they don't use technology that much. She was lost until she found something new and fun. She discovered HyperDocs, a fun new way to create digital lessons. With HyperDocs, Ms. Lawson's lessons are now interactive, collaborative, and personalized. Now she can add all her favorite digital tools into her lessons, or her students can pick what they want to use. HyperDocs gave Miss Lawson's class the spark they needed. So join Miss Lawson and start your HyperDocs today.
Jennifer Gonzalez wrote a great blog called How HyperDocs Can Transform Your Teaching, where she discusses some of the benefits of HyperDocs, like more flexibility, fewer lectures, and more face-to-face interaction with the students.
And the brilliant women who developed HyperDocs have built a website that you can go to, and you can download some templates and some sample HyperDocs to help you get started.
In order to access these HyperDoc templates, go to hyperdocs.co. Once you're on the website, hover over Resources, and then scroll down and select Templates. From here, you will see a wide range of templates that you can choose from that you can use and change for your own purposes. So in order to do that, just select a template. This will then open that template in a Google Doc. From there, what we recommend is selecting File and Make a Copy. Select OK, and this will then make a copy of that template and place it inside of your Google Drive so you can use it and change it as you see fit.
What's really useful about that website is the variety of HyperDocs that can be created. They have lots of options depending on what you're trying to do or the content that you teach.
So we've gone over what a HyperDoc is, some of the benefits the HyperDoc can provide in your classroom, and shown you a few examples. Now let's take a second and figure out how you can actually, or show you how you can actually create your own HyperDoc. I'm going to now demonstrate how to create your own HyperDoc. Now, here's an example of a HyperDoc that I downloaded from the hyperdoc.co webpage. So what we're going to do is we're going to create something very similar to this template that we've downloaded. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a brand new Google Doc inside of my Google Drive. From there, I'm going to give my lesson a title and some directions. Now that I've given my HyperDoc a title, I want to keep in mind that the directions will be for my students. So remember, your students are going to follow through with what is listed inside of your HyperDoc. So now we're ready to get started with our actual HyperDoc, creating our table. So as you can see from the example that we're going to use, we have numerous different tables right here. Now, this could be done in one table or split up as you see here. So we're going to show you how to create it just like it is here. So the first thing is to select Insert, scroll down, select Table, and now I'm going to select the amount of rows as well as the amount of columns. So if you remember, the example that we saw has 2 rows and 2 columns. So I'm going to select that when I go to Insert Table, 2 rows, 2 columns. Now, as you see in the example, the first column, both rows are merged together. So we can do that by selecting both of those rows inside of the first column and then right-clicking and selecting Merge Cells. So this is how you're going to merge two of the cells or two of the rows inside of your table. Next, we want to adjust the width of that column. So I will just go to the top and drag the bar at the very top over. So now I have the width of my first column very small, or small in comparison to the second column. So now I want to insert a picture. So I'm going to select Insert, Image, and I'm going to search from the web. So I'm just going to search for a globe. So I've now inserted a globe into that cell on my table. The next thing I want to do is give this section a title. I'm going to call it Engage. You can then add different formatting features to the title of this section. After I have created the formatting for that section, I will then add the actual items that I want the students to do. So do I want them to read an article from a website? Do I want them to do a particular activity? Whatever it is that you want your students to do for this section, you're just going to type it in right here. I've now added the description of what I want the students to do, and as you can see, if I click on the video word, there is a link to a video that I want my students to do. You will then repeat this process for every item that you want your students to do inside of your HyperDoc.
Now, we've been talking about HyperDocs being created in a Google Doc primarily, but also note that you could create a HyperDoc in other applications as well, like a Google Slide.
So a lot of you guys have already created HyperDocs or are looking forward to creating your first one. What we'd like for you to do is share those on our YouTube channel below in the description. So just go ahead and put a link to your favorite HyperDoc below. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check us out next week for another edition of IT Week.